Hey guys, what's up? We got big changes coming up tomorrow on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game update on September 26th. We're gonna be having massive changes in regards to the balance of this game. A lot of stuff that I'm sure people are gonna be complaining about. I already seen like some posts on the Steam discussion section of people complaining about some of the changes that are gonna be coming. We got some bug fixes. I think this is just overall great. We're getting patches pretty much like every week in which they actually listen to people complaints. They are fixing bugs, they are changing some stuff into the balance because, as some of you guys know, in my opinion, the game is victim-sided. So there's stuff for the victim side that should be nerfed, there's stuff into the killer side that needs to be buffed. I think that the overall changes that they're gonna be doing into this update tomorrow are usually okay. Bug fixes, balance changes that I think are overall gonna give a more fair, balanced experience. Just one little thing that I don't think it's a good idea that they're doing, but if they do it like well, whatever, I know how to kind of like counter it, as I'm gonna be mentioned here. First, they got fixed the hitchhiker traps bugs. One of was an exploit which was allowing the hitchhiker players to be able to use their traps to pass through the walls and doors. Other ones was the one that was causing interaction issues with the victims. They would not be able to interact with the gaps, crawl spaces, and other elements after stepping in a hitchhiker trap. And yeah, it's terrible. Like you just cannot do anything. It is like the game just nerfs you and removes a lot of abilities from you. It just screws you over. You just get bugged into the match and you cannot escape through the gaps, crawl spaces, which kind of like can be like almost like a death sentence for you in some certain locations on the map. So you just like are fucking over. Also, there are some issues which I've seen a few times in which the killers got bugged in a similar way. They could not interact, they could not even attack anymore. So I hope they end up fixing this stuff because it happens like to some of the players that play with me. Didn't happen to me, but it was like they could not be able to attack anymore. Like it's same thing that happens with survivors. I don't know what caused it on the killer side. With the survivors was being caused by the traps, but this also happens on the killer side. So yeah, this kind of bugs in which your character just gets screwed over and you cannot do anything about it. Definitely needs some looking into it. It needed to be fixed right away. Fix it, Johnny and Sissy lunge. So this is the one that I have kind of a problem with. It's pretty much like from the looks of it that they're gonna be nerfing Sissy and Johnny. And well, these are the two worst killers in the game. Their abilities are not as good as the other one's abilities. And so like the only good thing that they had going for them is their chasing capacity, their attacks, because like I saying here, Johnny and Sissy both had a lunge. I assume they're talking about the lunge attack, when they attack someone, the how much they go to the direction of the survivor, you know. The lunge was higher than the other family members. And I'm like, yeah, isn't that supposed to be like that? Because since their abilities are not as good as the other ones, like I mean, Johnny can track people, can find footprints. Sissy has the poison, whatever, can be helping in some occasions. But ever since they removed the rubber legs and her melee attacks cannot cause poison, so she only has like the poison cloud. Their abilities are not as strong as the other characters' abilities. I mean, Leatherface has a chainsaw which charge it up can one-shot people. Cook has the padlocks, Hitchhiker has the traps. Like they're overall more useful, so it's usually the meta killer combination is always gonna be Letterface, Hitchhiker, and Cook. Like Johnny and Sissy, only thing is because they're fun because they can chase and they can just chase. Their attacks have a bigger lunge. They can just attack the victims better. But if they're gonna nerf that, like if they're gonna make their attacks like to be more in line with the rest of the family members, like why use that then anymore? There's no reason to. They're just nerfing the two worst killers in the game. Sissy, I think, is probably the worst one right now, ever since they removed the rubber legs. Johnny is like almost like a little bit better than her, just because of the how with certain like if you are using scout and just keep spamming his melee attack, you can just move very fast. You just keep spamming the attack and just moving forward by just doing slash after slash. But if they're gonna nerf that, like there is no reason he's not good anymore. I mean, they are already like not the best option. They are like the worst killers in the game. So I'm like, why are you guys nerfing the only good thing about the worst killers in the game, which their attack capacity? Like their abilities are not good, not as good as Hitchhiker and Cook. You guys just want to force people to just only play with Hitchhiker, Cook, and Letterface, like just not just remove Johnny and Sissy for being playable. Because in Slaughterhouse is already the case. Like in Slaughterhouse, you're kind of forced to use Cook, Hitchhiker, and Letterface because that is like the most victim-sided map, and it's just like usually hard for the victims that you have to run the meta. Like against if the victims are running the meta, the family has to run the meta to counter it. And especially like in Slaughterhouse because it's just too big of a map. the valve tank
Connie
is
outside,
in the
generator down,
basement.
generator down.
It's just too hard to keep track of all the different doors. The map's too big. It's just complicated, you know, with that map. But if they're gonna do it to this characters, like you're gonna be forced to use even like the meta combination in the other maps. I mean, Family House, I like to run Johnny on Family House because usually people wake up grandpa fast and I just go to the Hush to basement and try to chase people there. I think that Johnny is okay in Family House and Gas Station. I like to use him there. I think he can just cover the area as well. But in the other ones, like you kind of need padlocks, either padlocks or traps for objective control. This should be also correct. The Johnny build we're seeing being used in public matches. You're probably talking about the one that just allows him to just do like infinite slashes pretty much. You can just keep spamming the melee attack and you never pretty much like you're not gonna run out of stamina all using melee. And I think that's a mistake. I get it. Oh, if that's not how they wanted Johnny to work, I get it. But like, if you're gonna nerf his attack, then well, there's no reason to use him because that's like the only good thing about him. Because his ability is not good. His ability is just too situational. He's nothing compared to the Cook or Hitchhiker. And even like the leveling up of his ability, you can just you can track people faster. You can like your recharge ability is faster. Come on, the Cook has a wall hack. The Cook spotting can spot everyone for the whole family. You can see like everybody through the walls, through the map. You know, you have a wall hack ability, and the Hitchhiker, when someone gets trapped, they either get insane damage or they're gonna be getting spotted for the whole family as well. And just like when they get trapped, they get screwed over. So I don't know. I just don't agree with this at all. I think that Johnny and Sissy should not be nerfed in any way. They are the worst skills in the game. So that's like the only complaint I have about this patch. Brightness shit. Fixed ratio that would allow PC users to adjust their game brightness outside of certain levels by editing game files. Okay, I guess if they are editing game files, it's a problem. But if I want to increase the brightness on my monitor, I mean, it says like changing game settings. It's like putting the graphics at low. I mean, you can see better like that, I guess, when you're trying to play more competitively. But I still don't think it's like that much of a big deal to just make it brightness. I mean, I don't know how much these people that are adding the game files or making the game bright. I haven't seen any of that, but I guess okay, it's okay. But I don't think that like they should like change like the capacity of people to try to change their monitors and stuff. No. Hitchhiker traps at ladder exits. We have adjusted the area at the top of the ladder where the Hitchhiker can place. Oh, you cannot put the trap there anymore. This allows for a strategic play, but will give victims the opportunity to counter the trap. So yeah, we're just not gonna put traps at the ladders. Like when they're going up the ladder, just not put a trap there, just put at the gaps, like, because it's a good strategy for the Hitchhiker was that when someone is climbing up the ladder, you just get instantly trapped with the trap. I mean, you can still, like, when you're climbing up the ladder, you can still drop down if you see the trap, because as you're going up, you can like kind of see the little trap there, you know? You can see the trap, and then you can just like cancel and just jump down to the basement, you know, when you're climbing up a ladder. So, I mean, the victims could still counter in a way just by not using the ladder. But, I mean, I guess just put the traps. I don't think it's that much of a big deal, even though it's like a kind of a nerf for the Hitchhiker, but there are still the good locations, strategic locations that you can put the traps. This one, best one of this patch. I mean, yeah, probably, yeah. I think overall it's the best one. Fuse box reset. The family can now turn the fuse box off after the victim turned it on. There is a cooldown applied to the switch, similar to generators and car batteries. So is this like a complete reset? So they have to like remake the minigame. They have to get another fuse. I want to see how, because after they make the fuse minigame once, they put the fuse, they make the minigame and open it. It's just way too easy for them to just keep reopening the basement exit over. You just have to press a key and it's instant open. Just too easy. Like once they make the minigame, it's just like you just can easily make it. So this is a good change. I think they should do something about the valve. I think the valve should also reset, or like the valve should break. I think that the fuse box and the valve exit should be like limited the amount of times in which the victims can open them. Like it should be just be limited, just because they are like the easy ways to escape the maps most of the time. So I think they should be like limited in a way. By turn off the fuse box, like is it like instant? The victim like turns it on and the basement exit is open. And like they instantly like go and turn it off, or they have to wait a little bit and like it's after the doors closes it, and then after that they can like turn it, like they can just like the victims are gonna have to redo the fuse box. But whatever they are making, if they are nerfing the fuse box for the victims, it's great. It's a great thing. Family stun immunity, great also. Like the stun time period for the family member is just too much. Sometimes you get stunned, you just cannot move for just so long. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Just way too much. Just way too much. Family now has a 10-second stun immunity period after the initial stun ends. There's no stun immunity after a family member is stunned by a victim bursting out of a hiding place. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity with a door slam, you have no effect. So like, yeah, they're limiting the amount of stuns that the family can get. Just great overall. After now has a stance after so I think that like they're after that one stun is gonna take a while for the family member to be able to be stunned again. Close encounters all vary in duration due to individual family members having different stun recovery times. I think that I never noticed much time between the family members, so maybe they're gonna change that. They're gonna make it so like it's gonna be now more different, like cause it was pretty much like always felt like the same. The perk Tai Condor perk levels are gonna be reduced, so it's still want that when you get stunned by the door, the killer just stays stunned for longer, and it's just insane. Like, and people can just survivors can just keep spamming that over and over. Like, they can just keep spamming the door at you over and over. You cannot do much about it. You just keep getting stunned. Only one that can do something about it is Leatherface. He can just destroy the door. Problem is that you have to hold the key. You have to hold the key to be able to stun the door. And like sometimes that's not possible. And the other family members, they cannot destroy the doors like Leatherface in the same way. So you can just keep getting stunned. Agitator perk, the one that you stab Grandpa and you just can lose up to 4 levels. Is gonna go down to the max of 2.5 levels. Great. Agitator perk kinda make like Grandpa useless because you can take so long to level him up to level 5 and just someone stabbed him and he's back to level 1. So it's like it made a lot of people just give up on not losing any time in leveling up Grandpa at all. Just trying to cover up areas, just patrol the exits and just go after survivors because like leveling up Grandpa was useless if someone had this perk. And even just one survivor with this perk can make all the difference. So imagine you have like 4 people running this, like there is nothing you can do. Is stealth performance in minigames. We have adjusted the amount of noise generated in gathering minigames when at full stealth. I mean, you mean like 50 in stealth? When like completely full in stealth, then it's just gonna be like, just it's gonna be make it much easier. Stealth's gonna. Yeah, I remember like in the previous one, they already said that like they're like improving stealth. Leland ability is stun duration. We have adjusted the stun duration upgrades for Leland lifesaver ability. They already did this on the last patch. This is like, are they nerfing or buffing? Because they had already nerfed this. So I don't know what they're gonna be doing here. They don't mention here. Like they're not mentioning if it's gonna be a nerf or a buff. So well, gonna be a surprise tomorrow to see how Leland ability is gonna go. But I think that overall it's just a good overall patch. Apart from CC and Johnny, but I'm like, because you're gonna nerf those killers, I'm just gonna use the other ones that are actually good. So, but I think that overall it's a good patch and it's good that they're still making these changes on the game.